NFC East. We've taken care of the NFC North, the NFC South. Today, let's finish off that conference, baby. It's the gauntlet that is the NFC West. So, Nate, let's take a little peek ski here to the Seahawks. You love them, of course. NFL.com saying the Seahawks needed a cornerback, an offensive lineman, some defensive line help, a linebacker, and wide receiver. Who did you like that they took?
First of all, I love those two names, Stone and Trey. Great names. But obviously, I want to talk about the wide receiver position. Dwayne Eskridge, right out the gate, it seems like they were adding firepower because within his division, other teams were doing the same. Arizona Cardinals are absolutely loaded at wide receiver. We know what a healthy San Francisco 49ers offense is going to look like. And the Rams, they acquired Matt Stafford. So I think the Seahawks are saying, how are we going to keep up with these offenses that are going to be so explosive? We bring in a guy that runs a 4.3, 4.39, and he's 5'8", so they're adding a speedster. We know Dwayne Haskins is there. They locked up Tyler Lockett to a long-term deal this offseason, and now you add in this individual. This offense, all of a sudden, could be as explosive as any. There's been times where the passing game hasn't necessarily been their strength. It's just been something they can occasionally lean on, but now they can. This dude averaged 20-plus yards a catch. So this isn't some, dink it off to him and move the sticks individual. This is one of those, let's put him in open space, use him out of the backfield, screen plays, take the top off the coverage, and he's going to be very explosive within his offense. So I like Dwayne Eskridge. Now you have Dwayne, DK Metcalf, and then a guy that can also run as fast as DK in a 5'8".
Let me ask
Dwayne Eskridge.
Russell Wilson was very vocal about offensive line play. They have a lot of wide receivers. It's not just Metcalf, it's Lockett. Does it seem like this is kind of a luxury pick and maybe you want to protect him and get an offensive lineman?
I believe it was the best player available. When you look at the offensive lineman they could have selected at that point, maybe they weren't top tier. Maybe they're backup material. Instead, they get a guy that can come in right away and play right now. And also, you know what? Just play quarterback, bro. Hey, you're Russell Wilson. You're Aaron Rodgers. All right? We pay you to be Jordan. Make everybody else better.
Hey, all right, next up, let's go with the Rams. According to NFL.com, they needed an alignment, a cornerback, an edge rusher, defensive line, and linebacker. So take a look at the notable picks. They definitely checked some of those boxes. Kyle, of all of these players, and there's a lot to choose from, who's your fave?
I think we got to start at the top.
We didn't even include our boy Funk.
I was looking for Jake Funk from Maryland. He's not up there.
233.
They took him in the 7th round, 233. But that's how many picks they had. We couldn't fit them all on one screen. And we've duly noted Jake Funk and his contributions coming to the league. We got to talk Tutu Atwell. Think about this. The Rams didn't have a first-round pick. Their first pick of the draft is a 5'8", not like Nate's, 155-pound player. First of all, to go in the 2nd round of the NFL draft at 155 pounds, you know how good you have to be? It's unheard of. That's an insane thing, especially since, the Rams lost some players on defense, some important players, and you would think that would be our first pick. No. McVay loved Tutu Atwell so much that he's like, I gotta have him. Bring him in here. And God knows what they're gonna do with this little toy. Jet Sweet, it is actually like a wind-up toy. If anybody wondering, Tutu, his real name is Chatarius Atwell Jr., but he got the nickname Tutu because he had a younger sibling who couldn't pronounce Chatarius, which you could relate to, so they just started calling him Tutu, and it stuck. He's got this incredible, legendary youth football career where he was a quarterback playing down in Florida with the Luther Campbell-funded league that also had Antonio Brown and Chad Johnson, playing quarterback down there, never lost a game. He ran 4.32, and there were a lot of reports that he was in the very exclusive 4.2 neighborhood. 2nd-round pick at 155 is exciting. It's great. Peter, I know you put him on our radar. You a big Tutu guy?
I love Tutu. I know McVay does too, and I don't think it's crazy to say that he with Deshaun Jackson is a great combination, someone to learn from. But I would also add this. He was 155 at his pro day. He went to the medical recheck, and he weighed 149. So he's 149 pounds coming.
It's a limbo stick.
And this is going to be something. We'll see how this goes.
Hey, playing Pop Warner in Florida is like a Pro Bowl game every week.
For real.
Like, they got athletes down there.
It's better than the NFC East.
He never lost a game to play quarterback.
No. Undefeated. That's the guy.
It's better than the NFC.
Yes. I'll take him right now.
Triggs, I really wanted you to talk Niners because let the record show, before the trade, before the quarterback talk, you were like, let them get healthy and they will be contenders and they will be competing. Nobody was talking about the Niners when you were. This is months ago I'm talking. Then they, of course, trade up. They get their quarterback. According to NFL.com, they needed one. They also needed a cornerback, a defensive end, and offensive lineman. Do you like what they've got going on?
I like what the Niners draft netted out. I also think it's a very important draft because they won't have a first-round pick the next 2 years, so they have to nail Trey Lance. He has to be good. He cannot fall apart. He cannot be a flop, and I really hope that Mac Jones and Justin Fields aren't ending up to be all-pro players while Trey Lance isn't. I trust Shanahan. I trust Lynch. They got their guy. But there's a lot of people who's critiquing, why would you trade up to 3 and give up 2 first-round picks for Trey Lance? Let's break down the economics a little bit here. This is how I'm looking at it. Look what the Rams gave up to get Jalen Ramsey, a cornerback who will not touch the ball on many plays in a football game. Oh, I don't know. They gave up 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. Let's look at what the Seahawks gave up to get a safety who's now in the final year of his contract and might walk out the door this year because they haven't given him a big deal. Jamal Adams, first-round pick, a 3rd-round pick. When you look at all that, what the Niners got for Trey Lance was the same, if not less, than what these teams paid for a cornerback and a safety. And look what they have as free agents the next 2 years. These are big names. Fred Warner, Raheem Mostert, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel. Look, you got to pay these guys. So why would they make that trade? Because they were looking at it at the big scale here. And I've talked to people around the league and said it's actually fascinating. This might be the move moving forward for a lot of teams. You move up, you get that rookie quarterback no matter what, and then you pay him $600,000 and you can re-sign all your veterans while they're on it. So for 4 years, he's not going to be making anything, Trey Lance, but they can re-sign Bosa. They can re-sign Deebo, Mostert. They can spend money elsewhere. It's a fascinating way to build a roster.
But it's all contingent on Lance can play.
It has to work.
Jalen Ramsey and Jamal Adams can play.
We know that. If this guy has to be good.
Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes all won their Super Bowl on their rookie deal. And the team was able to build around them.
Yeah, they all went to the Super Bowl. Goff goes to the Super Bowl rookie year, and then once he gets his big deal, suddenly you have to get limited. It's really interesting.
I see what you're saying.
Some teams are spending huge money on quarterbacks. The Niners, they have Jimmy on the roster. He won't be there after this year. The Niners were like, we know for the next 3 years we need to re-sign a lot of players. Let's save money on the quarterback spot, give up some first-round picks, and let's build around that. I think it's a fascinating way to look at it. Salary cap stuff. And that's why I like to pick a Trey Lance, and I really like the trade.
And I really like the Niners.
Like the Niners.
Okay, let's look at the Cardinals at last. NFL.com saying they needed a corner, they needed a wideout, they needed an offensive lineman. Of course they did. Safety and running back. What Najee Harris is to Nate Burleson, Rondale Moore is to me. Love him, not just because he's scrappy and he's quick, and that is why I like him, of course, standing there at 5'7", 42.5-inch vert. That's insane. 4.31 speed. I think he's like the most electrifying playmaker in this draft class, and I can't wait to see what he does. But this Cardinals receiving group in general just becomes more and more fascinating. To add him to A.J. Green, to DeAndre Hopkins. Do we know if Larry Fitzgerald's coming back? Could he be coming back? We don't know that. Andy Isabella, of course, a speedster out of UMass, and Christian Kirk. It's going to be a fantasy headache. I just want to point out something interesting. I think he'll get on the field, and he'll be on there a lot. Let's talk 4 receiver sets. Nate? The Cardinals and Cliff have run 548 plays with 4 or more receivers on the field. No other team, and this is going to be one of those receivers, no other team has run more than 161. 548 to 161. That's the team that has the second most with 4 wide receiver sets. So this is a guy who's crazy. That is absolutely nuts, and I cannot wait to see what this offense looks like and what he looks like.
Look at that weight on his back.
It's a quality rep, too.
That's a quality rep.
That's for real.
It's 600 pounds at 5'7".
Amazing.
Easy.
Amazing. And a vert that that's insane. That was your vert.
Oh, yeah. He's a powerful, explosive young man. He's going to fit right in with that offense.
Is he, Nate? What's going to happen when DeAndre Hopkins doesn't get 10 looks in the first quarter?
AJ Green's like, what's up, bro?
What's going to happen?
I'm not washed up. But listen, I do feel like, and I talked about this before, there was this rumor that Cliff Kingsbury was going to do this run-and-gun offense with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the roster is complete. Like now he's sitting
Final
back
project.
like, I finally can run the offense I want to run.
Okay.
Let's see, though. I would love to see some run and gun, 45, 50 passes. Let's see if Kyler can do it week in and week out. It's something we've never seen in the NFL. We're familiar with it on the college level.
Yes.
Come on, Kingsbury. You got exactly what you need. You got all the toys in the world.
I mean, Kyler Murray was on our show a couple of weeks ago, and he said